Hey, I'm Kev Camelot of the Caterham F1 team, and this is my rookie season. Okay? Yeah? Cool. Oh! I hope the rest of the season is better than this. Oh.
Okay, who did that in the bit? Who left it in the beginning? Looking at you, Tony. Yeah. Anyway, this is Kev Camelot. This is my rookie season. This is the beginning of the season. I'm recording this in December, so I might not remember some of the details of the game. But yeah, these were the teams that we had talks with, and Williams we had really good talks with, but they went for Senna in the end, and then Cater, and we got got a fast deal together there. It was really last minute, I think, in February. Yeah, February. We just before the last pre-season test. So I only had a day of testing to get used to the car, and we had a couple of problems with it, with the car, mechanical, of course. And so I haven't really done many of that before Australia, really, had I? But the team really welcomed me, as you can see, Tony, Robert, my agent, and Andy. He's really great, and it was really hard to adapt to this car, this to F1. Really, it's so technical. It's so much more technical than GB2. It's so much more harder. We had raced on the tyres. We are used to single seaters, but just the cars are so much more advanced, and really take some adapting to. I replaced Jarno as well, Jarno Trulli, and he really helped build this team with Heikki, and wishing the best of luck wherever he is. He's a great driver to watch growing up. But this is a lap of Albert Park, 3.2 miles. So we're flat out down the front straight, braking for the first time, around 100 metres, down to third gear. Can take it in fourth. Don't take too much of the inside curves or too much of the curves, because you want a good run down this straight towards turn 3. Brake before the DHL sign up there, down to second gear. Turning really hard to get right, and third gear through the left hand, a bit of a lift before it, and then flat out through the right hand, you're in fifth, changing up to sixth, and then seventh, and then braking under the trees for the right hand, brake before the 50 metre mark, about 70 metres down to third gear. I really attacked that curve on the left hand side, not as much as that because you've got some grass on it, but for the right hand, and then we brake down to 100, down to third gear. Again, don't take too much of that curve here, as you're going to see in qualifying. I do get it wrong, and then just flat out before this great chicane, fast left to right. Really do enjoy this. So you brake at the quanta sign on the right, down a couple of gears, and accelerate through the second part. You really do carry so much speed through it, even in a car really at the back, as this was at the beginning. But we really did improve the car. Brake before the quanta sign there, down the third, and lift here just before the corner, down the fourth, and then braking before that sign on the right. I think that's 50 metres down to second gear. Really tough corner at left hand, and then we lift before the final corner, indicator them in third gear, and accelerate through the gears. And that's a lap of the Albert Park Street Circuit. 58 laps on Sunday. I think we had half fuel in the car here, and it was on prime tyres, of course. And again, Tony, you're even making me look bad here. Why are you? Hey, I was a rookie. It was my first weekend. I'm bound to make mistakes, and I didn't see beginning of the really looking forward. I know we're not going to match Vettel, but you know, our aim was to get some points really and work our way towards the midfield teams, and I think we did achieve that by the end of the year. So I was really happy with this year, and the car was great off the bat as well. As you can see, great. Some news about me joining Caterham, and Tony F really welcoming me. The whole team have welcomed me brilliantly, and got a great buffet. I think that's the most important part of the team, buffet. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to practice now. Yep. Yeah, and this is practice at Albert Park, first session in an F1 car in a Grand Prix weekend, and this is my first few laps in an F1 car. Wow, I didn't expect you to put this in here, but yeah, I was so nervous in this. I've been waiting 15 years. I think I said that in the prologue. Yeah, the prologue. I said it was waiting 15 years for this moment, and I was just so nervous not to damage the car or bin the car in this session. Like Chandok, yeah, he did it last year, didn't he? I didn't want to be like Chandok, and he did it on his first lap, didn't he? Yeah, I didn't want to do it on my first lap either, like Chandok, like bin the car. So I was really careful not to do that, and I was really cautious in these first few laps, just learn the car, see how it handles. I did do some pre-season testing. I think we did 40 laps on the day that I did. Did have some problems with the car, such as electronics and stuff, but that's what's expected with a new car. But we did get quite a few laps, and then I did lots of laps in the simulator as well. We did about 100 or more than that around this track and Malaysia, because Malaysia follows really shortly here. And we also did it on China and Bahrain, because the flyaway races, because we don't really come back. So I had to do lots of laps in the simulators around those tracks. And as I said, they only came together in February, so this is like a month of like really intense training, really intense preparation for this Grand Prix. But this is what you got to do in everyone. You got to impress from the start. You got to be ready for it, and I think I was. I think we had a really good year, and the car was really good out of the bat. It really did handle well. I didn't really expect. If I'm honest, I didn't really expect that. I expected it to be a bit more difficult to handle, but it was such a lovely car. The guys did a great job with the car. It was really far. It was much faster than the Mauritius and the HRTs, and I think, as I said, our aim was to work towards the midfield, and I think we did do that during the year. And you can see I went a bit wide there, but I was again backed off a bit, just trying to get these laps going. And as you're about to see, there's some traffic. Is there? Yeah. Whoa! Where did that Taurus come from? Yeah, there was traffic, alright. And that's one of the things I got to learn in the KTM. I'm not really used to dealing with blue flags in Formula, so dealing with blue flags in F1 and dealing with slower cars as well on your hot laps and faster cars in the race or in practice, really had to learn how to pull over and not lose too much speed, because people always talk about how the leaders lose speed, but we lose more by pulling over. We lose seconds, like 3 or 4 seconds per lap. The leaders lose what, 1-2 seconds? I don't know where they get that notion from, where the leaders are hard done by when it's the back markers. So, but you know, the leaders get the say. They get all the media. So can't complain as a back marker. And yeah, this is the hot lap. Towards the end of the session, we tried to do a qualifying practice, and I don't know what the Ferrari was doing, just stopping on the apex, and I probably should have lifted, should have let him go, but he's just there and he didn't see damage to wing. But so I didn't make it for my first session without damaging the car. But what can I say? I was just a bit anxious to impress, I think, because if I'm F1, you got to impress from the start, and that's what Trulli did, didn't he? Jarno, yeah, in the Prost, yeah, when Palace broke his legs in Canada in '97. Trulli came in his place, and he was just fantastic, and he kept that drive for '98. So that's what I hope to do this year. And in practice, you can see we got a great car out of the bat. Me and Heikki really close. The master Heikki, great to learn from him throughout the year, and we were much faster than the newer teams, but not really that close enough to the midfield teams we thought in practice. But in qualifying, it was much better for me. I don't know what happened to Heikki. I think he had some problems. He just really struggled. But for me, in qualifying, it was really good, even with traffic. As I told you, traffic everywhere, especially in qualifying, where you got 24 cars, 20 minutes, try and get through Q1. Yeah. At some places, it was just a nightmare. And really planning our strategy, really planning our runs was really difficult at some places, such as Monaco, of course, and Singapore, and some of the shorter tracks as well. And it was just really hard sometimes to get this right. So we done that throughout the year as well, just learning how to tackle qualifying and get the optimum from our car, from our pace that we had. And we didn't do this in Australia, I don't think, as you're going to see. Partly my fault, partly just bad timing again, but there's nothing you can really do about bad timing. We all have those monitors, don't you, on the pit wall, and as you can see, we got this is all the information from the monitors, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, you can see the lap I'm doing, the position, and where I am on the circuit, the GPS. And we always look at the GPS to feed the car in, but it just never works sometimes. But on this qualifying lap, you can see it's pretty clean, a bit aggressive in the last corner, but this wasn't as fast as I could have gone. I had another lap right after, as you can see. But look at that, was much faster. But then again, traffic just, I don't know why you would stop on the racing line like that. We don't do it, or at least we try not to do it. Look at that Sauber, just really cost me time. And then I had another, and then the next lap I was even faster again, as you can see, faster than Rosberg and the Mercedes. That's like, I knew the car was quick, I didn't know it was that quick. Faster than Mercedes, like the top 5 team car. Well, we're what, 10th, yeah. And then you can see, as I said in the circuit guide, you can't take too much curve, and I put too much right foot there and into the barrier. But it was a great qualifying, much faster than the other teams, and I don't know what happened to Hakey. This is Q1, by the way, so that's why the Williams at the top. Really fast car though in the race as well. And as you can see, I'm trying to apologise to Andy for like crashing, but he understood, you know, first weekend I really did want to try and impress first race, and he knew that I had to calm down over there, so that's what I did. So let's go to the race then. And here we are on the grid on race day, and oh, so nervous, didn't want to crash or wreck at the first corner. We got a really good start though, and I didn't want to be bogged down at the start, and we got great clutch settings there, and we're ahead of the Sauber. We tried to nip around the outside, but the Force India just blocked the way of Hulkenberg, and it was a good first few corners actually. It really did move up the order, and we got Perez behind us nicking us, and we dived down the inside for this third corner. We just got inside the Toro Rosso, and then there was Williams running wide there, or Senna, but Hulkenberg, great racer, he tried to make it down inside or outside even, but we got down the inside of Schumacher. I passed Schumacher in my first race, the 7-time world champion. We got Massa in front, so we're up to 12th from 19th on the grid. I was just amazed. I think I was too amazed, because as you're going to see here, like, just went a bit wide at the corner. Like, the car has some understeer in it, and we almost lost it on the grassy tyres there, but the car has some understeer in it, and sometimes in the first few laps of a stint it just shows itself, and so I have to be careful. But this is where our race got ruined really. Like, Perez just hit us, and then I think it was actually Kobayashi who hit us while we were spinning and spun round, and I don't know, Perez had some accidents during the year. I'm not sure if I think it was just a racing accident, or just side by side, just hit each other, but I don't know, it's just the early that sometimes we go a bit crazy, and so we had to really change the strategy up. We were going to do 3 starts with a prime stint after this, and ended with 2 option stints, but we had to change it up, so we went on prime time. So we're just going to try and get some consistent lap times. So even though it's got heavy fuel, and I talked about the understeer, so you can see here the car was really tough to drive in the early laps, and it took some getting used to get the braking points. We really had to change it up from the options that we were going to use, because the options you could be a bit more aggressive with in the early stint, but on the primes you really did have to be careful. As you can see, a lot of the back end there got it onto the grass, but managed to save the car, and they had to change the brake bias there. They had to move it a bit forward to stop that rear lock-in, and again you can see the car just understeer. It was really tough, but we had good pace in the first few laps. The cars in front were on options that we were fighting with, the newer teams, and HRT and Marussia, and also my teammate of course, and they had option tyres, so they pitted earlier, as you can see on lap 15 now, and we were on a different strategy, so we could just take advantage of their pace sometimes. We were right behind De La Rosa, you can see, but I don't know what the leader was doing. I think he was going to pit, and he just slowed down behind me, and so cost myself loads of times. It took me quite a few laps to catch up to De La Rosa again, to try and fight him. As you see, lap 20. This is when we pitted on the prime, so now we're just going to run options for the rest of the race. The team did a great job on changing the strategy. They really did it. And in my first race, I don't think I could have listened to anybody better. Really, the team did a brilliant job adjusting the strategy after that early setback. And as you can see, going down the pit lane, and we had options, primes now, as you can see, and then we just ran 3 stints of options. So we pitted that 32 and around that 45 as well. So you could really push it for the rest of the race, unlike my teammate and Mauritius and HRT. I had to do some fuel saving as well, because we went through with cautious fuel. We filled the car with an extra few laps, so we didn't really have to concentrate on fuel saving for me, because it is my first race as well. They wanted to make it as smooth an experience as possible for my first race. And you can see, this is most of my race really, just nick it all to that traffic going around me. So then we got that lots of time. So I think Heikki got that 3 times, I got that twice, but I think Heikki had problems again in the race. I don't know, it was so even in practice. I can only imagine he had problems in the race, and for me to be so far ahead of him, because he's such an experienced, and he's a race winner, I've got to say, with McLaren. He's been at top teams, and and he's built this team up with Trulli for the past 2 years, and he's great driver, great to learn from, great guy off the track, and he's just a great guy overall in the team. He's such an integral cog of the team, and can't imagine a team without him, frankly. But as you can see on that 23, he did catch up to him after I pitted. You can see I had much better pace during the race than him, and got a great run out of turn 5, I think, or 5 or 6. Just dived down his inside. Well, he's on options as well, and he took a nug on the outside. I didn't realise that. Outside. I left him room just in case, but got past him there. And it wasn't long before we caught up the Carthagena as well on the HRTs. But as you can see, that traffic going crazy. There's a Ferrari off there. I don't know what was going on, but that traffic was just crazy sometimes. You really took advantage of that as well, as you're going to see here. I think the Lotus went wide, and then HRT slowed up, expecting him behind, and we just flew past Carthagena. So got another position, and that traffic was really where we made up lots of time as well. I think we were like 20 seconds faster, I think we found out at the end of the race when we analysed the data. We were like 20 seconds faster than Glock and De La Rosa and Carthagena. And as you can see, De La Rosa again held up by that traffic. We just took advantage, just went round his outside out with the first couple of corners, and into turn 3 just made sure we hit our marks. We got into the corner well, and then I think that's Glock in front. Is that? No, it's a lap car. It's a car a lap ahead even. But yeah, this is when we pitted again. We were up to 18th because Glock had pitted, and of course the other guys had pitted. So, but we had really good pace. So we were like a second faster than Glock and the HRT. So we really took advantage of this strategy, and it was really nice actually just to push the car. I was expecting a race where we had to save tyres, because I heard about the Pirelli tyres being, smaller operating window, really temperature sensitive, so we really had to be careful and watch that during the race. But the guys just they said the tyres were good, we could push us out as hard as we want. And coming out of the pits, we already had traffic in the Lotus and almost touched wheels, almost turned in too much. That was my mistake there. But first race, I'm going to make a couple of mistakes, and this is when we caught up to Glock, I believe. Yeah, as you can see, Heikki's got ahead of the HRTs behind as well. He had his phases where he was really fast, so I don't know what happened overall, but oh no, that's Pick. Okay, yeah, we were lapping Pick. I don't know what happened to Pick at the beginning. He pitted as well, and he was really slow, so that down on everyone, I think. So I don't know what happened to him, but yeah, that was Pick. It was nice actually lapping someone instead of actually being lapped all the time. So yeah, now we're catching up to Glock here. these highlights, you don't have the drivers' names over the top, so it's sometimes hard to pick out who's who. Can't you change that? No? Okay. Yeah, but it's sometimes hard to see who it is. But yeah, Glock and De La Rosa having a fight well, getting that. So, again, getting that together, we're taking advantage of it. And we're right behind De La Rosa, who's taking a knock. He's defending the inside. Very wise guy. He's been around F1 so long, since the 90s. I think only Michael has done that as well, since the 90s. But go down his inside. And it wasn't long before he caught up the Glock either. Yeah, he's such an experienced head, great to race with, and great driver. And I heard HRT, yeah, they're going. Sad that they've gone out of business. I hope all the employees move on well, and I hope the team, who are all associated with the team, do well in the future. And De La Rosa, very experienced driver. I'm sure he'll find a role somewhere. And, he should maybe do endurance driving, but. Yeah, this move, I love this move, into the fast chicane, and you don't see it, but I was actually cheering on the radio. That's how happy I was, and the team really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it. I think I just got a much better exit in Glock out of the slow corner in third gear, just got that exit smoothly, and used some curves as well, some slipstream, and went down his outside. That was a beautiful move, if I say so myself. Don't want to sound cocky now on my first go, do I? But yeah, this is the last pit stop. Great job from the boys, around 3 seconds. I think the top teams did 2.8, so our mechanics were really on the game. They really were very close to the top teams in the pit stops. And again, the final few laps were a bit boring actually, because we managed to get ahead of Glock and with our pace, and we just pulled away from them, especially with all of that traffic you can see. We're getting that all the time in these last few laps, and the last few laps were just pulling over and making sure we didn't lose too much time in that traffic. You can see Red Bull diving around my outside, going a bit wide, and because they're so close in the midfield, you always had packs of cars sometimes, like together, trying to lap you, and so it's really difficult getting some laps together, like getting consistent pace. So you can see we're already 2 seconds down in the first sector of this lap. That's a Ferrari going by, and it's just hard trying to keep good lap times, like consistent pace. And I said it just costs us seconds. Like I think this lap I was 5-6 seconds slower than my fastest lap on my previous lap. So it really does cost us a lot. But at the end I came 16th. I don't know what happened to Schumacher, and I think Verne. Yeah, Toro Rosso retired, didn't he? Yeah, so I don't know what happened to them, but we got to 16th in the end, and I was just thought I powered by the guys on the pit wall. I was so happy. And Heikki got 20th, so it was a good race for us, and we were top of the newer teams. I think that's our aim for the first flyaway race, just to be top of the newer teams ahead of Marussia and HRT. And it was a bonus getting ahead of Micah and Fern. I don't know what happened to them. Did they run out of fuel or something? But yeah, you can see at the front, Lotus, Ferrari, Williams. Told you Williams are good. So McLaren only 4th and 9th and 8th, so no one to them. But yeah, drivers, nice from Kimi. He returns after 2 years and wins. That guy's incredible. I don't know what he's got, but as you can see, 16th ahead of Schumacher. I did not expect that after one race be ahead of Michael Schumacher. 7-time world champ. I grew up watching that guy just fighting with Hill and Villeneuve and Hakkinen. I did not expect to be ahead of him. That was amazing. But didn't see Lotus got a good start, and we're in that valuable 10th place. That's our aim really, 10th, and if we can get 9th, get some points, it would be a bonus. But yeah, the team was so happy. I was so happy. I mean, debut weekend could have gone much better. I just couldn't have hoped for much better really. I'm just so proud of the team, and I can only thank them, from the bottom of my heart, and thank them for the season as well. But for that first weekend especially, just to get off a good start, get some confidence going, and get Will Smith, and just realise we had a good car, really. Because you never know out of pre-season testing, especially the actual pre-season testing I had, that if the car is good. But it was, and Andy always updating me, and we're already talking about Malaysia and seeing it was the interesting weekend with the rain. It's always going to rain there, but yeah, is this the end of it? Yeah. I didn't see that 3 seconds off in qualifying, so we had great pace, but the race pace we need to improve 4 seconds off. But we did that over the season, and you're gonna see more of that. You're gonna see Malaysia next, aren't you? Is that next weekend or weekend? Next weekend. Okay, so yeah, next weekend see Malaysia. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye. How do you get this fucking headset off? Oh, fucking. My ears! Hurts my ears, man. Ah.